If you have never been to this website and utilized their resources, I can guarantee that you have a very valuable, overlooked resource at your fingertips that you have not been utilizing. Now, whether or not you know that you have a Revolutionary War soldier in your family tree or not, the information provided to obtain a Daughters of the American Revolution application could provide the information you need to solve these mysteries in your family tree and extend your family tree further. Now, a while ago, I did a video on the sons of the American Revolution. Now I'm doing one on the daughters, and I'm going to take you through and show you exactly how to go about ordering the records and some little tricks that will enable you to utilize this wonderful resource that's available to you and really not that expensive. So, hold on, dive in, because I promise you there is probably something there that's going to help you somewhere in your family tree. I'm Aimee Cross. I'm here to help you take your genealogy to the next level, and we are going to increase your family history knowledge with finding some of these places that you may not know about. And I love the Daughters of the American Revolution and their website. Let's see how it works. The National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution was founded in October of 1890. And it was a time when we were reviving patriotism. And here's a wonderful picture of one of the original groupings of this society. It's been around for a long time, and they do a lot of wonderful community support events and other things like that. It's a wonderful organization to be part of. I'm not even going to go into that today. If that's something that interests you, you can check that out. What I want to talk to you about is the records that they have. Now, why is this important? Let me go into this into a little bit more detail. When somebody submitted an application to become a member of the D.A.R, they needed to prove lineage. It's called a lineage society. They needed to prove that they were related to this Revolutionary War soldier. Well, that's all fine and good, but some of the records that they use to prove are not records that you will be able to find today. And so what they have in their library can be very beneficial to you. Now, you can go in person to the DAR Library. You can take a look at their membership applications for free there in person. It's a wonderful library. It's in the heart of Washington, D.C., not very far from the White House. I've had the opportunity to visit there, and it was a wonderful experience to take a look at not only their databases and the records that they have of the people that have joined the association, but they have a vast library of other books that could also be helpful for you in your research. And so here is a picture of this library, and it shows you there's just so many books that are available for you. So it's a great place to go. But let's say you can't go. What can you do remotely? And why do we even care? All right, why we care? Maybe somebody submitted a Bible record in order to prove their relationship. And that's very valuable because a lot of times these old Bibles have not survived. And they can tell us information like exact birth dates and other things. There can be firsthand accounts of people that knew somebody else. I mean, if people were joining in 1890, these people were not that far removed from their Revolutionary War ancestors. And so they may have personal knowledge, and there may be information that was provided in that report. All right, so when you're on the home page, there's a few tabs that I really want to bring to your attention. The first is the research tab right over here. Now, they give you some information about how to start researching and things like that, but I want to call your attention over here to genealogy resources, where they give you some more of that information and how you might be able to work with the DAR chapter to assist you in your research, particularly if you're trying to join the organization. The genealogical research system, which you can either get there by clicking here, or you can click right here and you'll open that up. Now, I'm going to talk about that more in just a moment. There's also some library research guides where you can find the library catalog. Now, this will give you a listing of all of those wonderful books that you can view there on their website. Archives Resources has some additional information that might be helpful for you. The E Pluribus Unum initiative and Honoring Our Patriots are some things that they are doing to, quite frankly, try to make the world a better place. All right, so let's talk more about some of these research things. And I want to start at the Genealogical Research System, or the GRS. Now, they do have a video right here on their website to take you through this process. I really like this website, to be honest with you. I like ordering records from DAR more than I like ordering them from SAR because one, they're not as expensive, and two, it's easier to order them. So really, there's no reason for you not to use this database. It truly is an amazing and wonderful place for you to go. This is a free resource, the research system, but if you want to actually order records, then you're going to end up having to pay for them, and I'll show you that in just a moment. Now, as noted on this page, their database is maintained by basically applications, membership applications to the society. But however, it's not comprehensive, and you may have relations to an ancestor that is not in the database, and that doesn't mean that you can't do that. You just have to do a little bit more work to prove that ancestor did serve in the Revolutionary War. Now, the descendants database is that index of names that are descendants of the Revolutionary Patriot. That's why maybe you don't know you're related to a Revolutionary War soldier, but your family members may be included in that descendants database, which then can give you like a world of opportunity because now you have proven lineage up to a specific point. That's pretty awesome. And so this is why it's often overlooked. And then as I scroll down below further, you'd see where they talk about the fact that they have so many family register entries from Bibles, perhaps the largest collection. And so it's one of my favorite things to be able to find there. So once you are on this page, I want to show you how to navigate it. You can search by an ancestor. You can search by a DAR member if you know their national number, okay? You can search by the descendant's name, which is something that we just talked about. And then here we have a listing of Bibles. If you want to just search for the surname of a Bible, if you see any Bibles, like I have family members by the names of Gibbs. So if I do a search, I see many people that have a Gibbs in their family Bible. And these are in their library catalog. These Bibles are on their shelves. Now, when you click Ancestor, this is where you're looking for a Revolutionary War ancestor. So if I type in the name Gibbs, and let's just do a search on just Gibbs, all right? You have to have at least one of these filled out. The surname, the first name, or their ancestor number, which is their DAR number. So now I see that there are 91 Gibbs. And here they're going to have some that this line may not be used for membership. This is somebody that somebody submitted, and they've since proven that this is not somebody that qualifies to be a DAR ancestor. Now, I don't want to look at those 91 or however 90 something, whatever it was. And so I'm going to put in more information. So now I have Nathan and I have a Nathaniel Gibbs. And again, I'd like to point out that you may want to search by different spellings, but DAR is going to assign a single standard surname that covers the variant spellings. But the surname you have in your head may not be the same one that DAR has used. That's why you've got to be a little bit flexible in that, okay? Now, if I scroll down here and choose somebody, let's choose Churchill Gibbs. So Churchill Gibbs served from Virginia. He was born in about 1757 in Culpeper County, Virginia, and he died on the 30th of May, 1846, near Madison County, Virginia. We have his pension service number, and then we also have some of his service description, as well as the names of his spouses. He had two. And then we start to see the applications and the supplementals. And this is where it gets good, all right? Now, these applications are put, generally speaking, in order of number. Not totally, as you can see here, but I like to look at the earliest ones because these were done by people that were more closely related. This is earlier, and this was national, this was number 40. This was the 40th application to become part of DAR that was accepted. But before we go there, I want to show you this key right here. And if you go down here to the very bottom, it will give you some information. The yellow S means that there's supporting documentation available. The D in the square that's purple means that this descendant list is available for this member and the ancestor. So here, this first application we see, it's just a descendant list. So if I click, I actually can click on this and I can open it. And I can see here online, I don't even have to purchase this. I can see some of the information. I can see that this member, Alice Trueheart Buck, that was her number. She descended from Armistead Moorhead and Eliza Rixey, Eliza Rixey descended from Penelope Gibbs, who descended from Churchill Gibbs. And that was how they were related to Churchill Gibbs. This is not that many generations different as we suspected. Now, if I go down here, I'm going to see the same information that I saw before. Now, if I want to see some of these blanks that may be in here, I can purchase the associated record copy. So first, they're going to give you a little warning. All right. And they notice that prior to 1984, a major percentage of applications and supplementals do not have supporting documentation. And the reason for that is because people couldn't photocopy things, right? Like they could prior to like the 1960s. It's important that you kind of recognize the limitations of these records. But to get the lineage chart, which is just those names and all of the birth dates, it's $10. And I can right here just add that to my shopping cart. Now, let's say I want to find out a little bit more. So if I go back to Churchill Gibbs, let me take a look at some of these other applications. Now, this is another child of Penelope, this next application. Here's another child of Penelope, but this has supporting documentation. So if I click on this one, I can take a look at this descendants list. Now, this person descended through Penelope, and here we see that again. Penelope was born to Richard Rixey. She had a daughter, Virginia, and Virginia had a son, Edward Hamilton Jackson, who had a daughter, Roberta Lee Jackson. All right, that's how this person obtained membership into the association. So now if I go over here to purchase, I'm going to close this instructions window. I see not only the application, which is the lineage, which we just looked at, minus a couple of those lines, but there are 2 documents of supporting documentation available, and the price is $20. I can get both for $30, or I can order just the supporting documentation if I choose to. Now, let's say I want to go down to one of his other children. This is Judith. Now, if I click on this one, I see that Judith Gibbs was the daughter of Churchill Gibbs, and I see that Judith married a Reuben Medley Strother, and that's how that line worked its way out, right? So even by just looking at the various DAR applications, I can get ideas of children of Churchill. Now, when you see an additional volume, like right here, it's kind of a clue that there is more information here. So if you click on the member number, I'm going to open that up in a new tab, and that there can be multiple ancestors that fought in the Revolutionary War on some of these. So that's kind of a clue to maybe look at more information there. Now let's take a look at this person who's related through Jane Barnett. There is additional source information with that S there. So if I click on purchase, this is showing that there's 9 documents available in the supporting documentation. Let's say I want to get both of those. I'm going to add both to my shopping cart. And you can see that they've separated it with the supporting documentation costing $20, the application costing $10. You don't get a discount if you order both of them. I'd also like to point out that when you scroll down here, they'll show you that this is an online service. They're not going to mail them to you through the mail. You're going to have to download them online. And they give you a lot of information, and if you're having trouble, a contact phone number to contact. But once you've added whichever ones that you want to your shopping cart, then you can go up here to the right-hand side right there. You can see your shopping cart. Once you've figured out what you want, you put it in your shopping cart, you place your order, you will get an email with an order number, and they will give you a link to get your digital documents. But you can also go here to download purchased items, and you enter your record copy retrieval code, which is sent in the email when you purchase your shopping cart, and you can get the records that way as well. But it's easy to do. It can be very, very helpful in your research. And you do need to pay attention to their warnings that, there may be some information in there that was incorrect and things like that. Those are things you need to keep in mind, but they can frequently provide you the information that you need to break down a brick wall in your family tree and extend your family tree more generations, discover more ancestors. So thank you, D.A.R. Thank you so much for providing such a wonderful resource. So much of it is free, and the price to order the documents is really quite low and very reasonable. So I very much appreciate that. Now, if you didn't see my video on the Sons of the American Revolution, then you should definitely check out their website as well and check out this video to help you walk through that. But they have different things in their library and in their databases. They have different applications. They may have the same ancestors in some of their information, but they may have different documentation that was submitted in order to obtain membership to their differing societies. So check that one out. Thanks so much.